My name is Jamin, and as you can tell from the countdown clock, the lesson is about to get started. In case you're new with us, there's a few things I'd like to show you to help you throughout the lesson. So you probably either know someone or have heard of someone who has the magical skill of being able to listen to a song just one time and then sit down and play it back. And it's always portrayed as something that's magical and mystical. Let me tell you another tale. I've got a friend who can listen to Chinese and after hearing it only one time, make the exact same sounds. And you're thinking, well, your friend obviously just knows Chinese. Well, it's magical and mystical to me because I can't do it and he can. But yes, it's just a matter of learning the language. It's the same thing with music. Those people are just listening to it going, okay, yeah, it's that thing and then that thing. And then, yeah, it goes to that thing. They can sit down and just recreate the sounds. That's what transcribing is going to do for you. So these lessons are going to take a look at the melody. We're going to figure out what are the notes, the individual notes that are being sung. What are the chords, all the band, what are they doing back behind it? And then lastly, we'll be doing the scribing part of transcribing where we actually write it out in sheet music. So this is a totally learnable skill. So if you stick around for enough of these transcribing lessons, someday someone will be telling that magical and mystical tale about you. These lessons are always guided and shaped by your questions, and if you're live with us today, there's a couple different ways you can do that. One is in the public live chat, and the other is the Ask Jamin a Question button, where you can ask me a question privately, and I won't share your identity in case you're afraid that your question is stupid. But it's not. If you're in the archives, though, then just open up the survey. At the end of that, there's a place where you can ask your question. I will say I frequently get questions from students in the archives watching a lesson from 6 months ago, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So please try to be as specific as possible. If you're watching this at learnpianolive.com, there should be a PDF and an MP3 button right next to this video. The PDF will often have additional video links inside so you can get more in-depth instruction on each of the topics. And if you're the kind of person who likes to print out the PDF so you can make the same notes on your physical version as I'm making during the lesson, that would be the time to do that. The MP3 is just a play-along track so you can practice more after the lesson. In traditional lessons, a teacher is going to actually present some new concept for maybe 5 or 10 minutes every couple weeks. The rest of the time is going to be spent applying and refining those concepts. Well, here I'm spouting off hours of new information every week, so it's totally unreasonable to expect you to actually absorb all of that. Instead, the goal of these live lessons is for you to find some little nugget of something that makes sense, but is a bit of a challenge, and for you to go practice it, because practice is where all the improvement's going to happen. So don't feel bad if you have to leave the live lesson when you find that little thing that you're going to practice. And of course, if I'm going too fast, you can always rewind the live lessons or replay in the archives as much as you want. If these live lessons start feeling random or meandering, it's because they are, on purpose. So if you're the kind of person who wants classical training with a step-by-step method, then you're going to want to check out Kloppel Academy on the website. It's included in your live lesson subscription, so you can do both or either. And the upper levels are seriously hard work, but it's going to take you all the way from ground zero all the way up to being ready to enter any major music college as a piano major in classical or jazz. And thankfully, I think that's about all we need to cover before the lesson. So if you'd stick around afterwards and fill out the survey, I would love your feedback. But for now, let's have some fun and make some music. Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin. This is our chat moderator, the incomparable Kendra.
Guess what? I have finals in 2 weeks.
Oh.
That was like so depressing.
Wow.
Like we were all in a good
We should
mood.
start the lesson again.
Okay. And
this is the incomparable Kendra.
guess what?
What?
We're about to have a great lesson.
That's right. And guess what?
Yeah. What?
Finals? Tests? What is it? You said finals?
Oh, yeah.
Finals
Not
are about
next
to be
week.
over in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
All right, yeah.
And then guess what? I
What?
get to go back to school and learn more.
I know.
So exciting.
I'm sorry. My class ends in 5 weeks.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Your
yeah.
college,
Uh-huh,
or what,
yeah.
the course online.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Whatever
it's
it is.
at a college. That's the thing.
cool.
Anyway, man, this is definitely going to be more fun. But honestly, I'm a little bit afraid of this too. This is Stevie Wonder. And if you've never transcribed a song before, don't start with Stevie Wonder because it's going to be a little bit crazy to try to follow along with. His songs are generally the root movements, the chord movements are usually less predictable than the other songs we do. However, starting off with the melody, we can totally do this on the song. So let's just play a little bit of this. I'm pretty sure that if you're watching on the free YouTube feed, they're going to kick us off pretty much immediately. Sorry, that's the way YouTube is. The big bullies. So I'm going to play this song and we're going to try to transcribe it because that's the only way to transcribe this thing. But YouTube's going to tell me that it's already owned by somebody else. And so during all of that, we need to find some note that fits. Now, usually we do a note inventory thing, and Kendra, I'm going to have you jump in for this one, where we just like pick a random note, and then we decide whether that fits in or not. If that sounds interesting to you and you've never seen us do that before, then you'll want to go back to one of the other lessons. That's not what we're going to do today because we've never done this one yet by the scale. So another option that some people do when they're trying to find the key is they just play all of the keys and then they decide which one feels like it fits. So one of these is going to fit better than the rest of them. So Kendra, you're going to tell me, we're going to start with the key of C. I'm going to play all of these notes in that order, and you're going to tell me if...
Wait, can I guess what key it's in?
No,
because
you already know?
I have an idea. I don't know.
You perfect pitch people make me sick. Okay.
Well,
yeah,
I don't know.
What key? Well,
wait,
no.
can you play it? Because
No.
I think I caught a note in there. I'm pretty sure.
Of course you did. Of course you did. All right, so
can I like not say
for
it?
the rest, no,
Or-
you cannot.
Fine.
That's cheating.
That's not cheating.
1 in 10,000 people has perfect pitch. Kendra is one of those people.
I don't know if it's.
So
It might be
here we
something.
Go ahead,
like-
take your guess.
Okay, well I thought I heard like. Wait, can you play it one more time? E flat.
Yes. Yes. So if you have perfect pitch, you don't need this part of the lesson. But no, it's actually not E flat, really.
Oh, okay. I just heard the E flat.
There is an E flat in
Okay.
there, and later on I'm going to take that back, and you're right. But for right now, I'm going to tell you that that's not right because technically it's wrong. So the key of C over top of this would sound like this. Yeah, it sounds horrible. So then I would try the key of D flat. Now, some of these are going to sound kind of right-ish, but you know, have a note every here and there that sounds wrong. So we just want to make note of those. C was definitely wrong. It just sounded terrible. If that didn't sound bad to you, go back and play it again. If it still doesn't sound terrible to you, then you need a different method because this method is not going to work for you. That's fine, but this method won't work. It only works if that sounded absolutely horrendous. Like, no, none of these notes, that didn't really work at all. Here's the next one, D flat.
Paris, Beirut, you know, Iraq, Iran, Eurasia, you know, I speak very, very fluent Spanish.
Some of the notes in there sounded pretty good, but mostly no. It's not right.
Is that right, mama? Yeah, 'cause I got my shake.
Actually, I'm going to go... no, I'll say it at the beginning. So here's the key of D. So the question we're asking is, does that sound good? I think the answer should be no. Okay, here's the key of E flat. This is Kendra's guess. That one sounds great. Not really. There's several notes in there that were not, they didn't quite fit in.
You understand that?
That would sound better. So, a couple notes in there that don't really work. So, we're going to go to the key of E. There's nothing in there that works. That sounds terrible almost all the way through. So, next one, key of F. No. Here's the next one.
Iraq, Iran, Eurasia, you know, I speak very, very fluent Spanish.
And that was the right key.
Chévere.
So maybe that didn't sound totally right to you. Let me play that one again. That's what key we're in. Or the key of E flat is the relative to this one. So G flat is the correct answer. But there is definitely a lot of E minor in there. So this is key of E minor, E flat minor, or the key of G flat major. So again, if that method didn't work for you and nothing really clicked and they all sounded equally terrible, then use one of our other methods of finding the key. But that one works for a lot of people, especially if the audio mix of what we're sending out right now may not be the same as you sitting at your piano, hearing the track. Make sure you've got plenty of the track and you're just kind of in the background. So anyway, try that on your own, see if you can do that. Or maybe the threat of having to play all the major scales is enough in itself to scare you away from that method. But that's the key that we're going to go for, the key of G flat. Now, because it's Stevie Wonder, because it's the genre that it is, there's going to be a lot of exceptions to the rules here. We're not going to just stay in the key of G flat or E flat minor the whole time. But there's that part of it for you. Let's just go back and do the note inventory. This is probably the more common version to find the key. So now we're just listening for our right note, and as Kendra pointed out, this is a fine note. Then we would just branch out to the left or the right. Kendra, which direction do you want to go? Left or right?
To the right.
To the right. So that one would be fine. And then that one would be not right. And then the question is it that one or? So we just branch out slowly. Again, we do this in a lot more detail in other lessons. But we just keep branching out until we get all the notes that we like. And of course, he's going to change keys really quickly there. And that all has to do with the chords. So we'll be learning that in the intermediate version of this. But for right now, we are in the key of G flat major or E flat minor temporarily until he changes the key for us. This is the one that we want right here. We'll highlight that bad boy. And there's our highlighter. There we go. Our key is G flat major. And now what we need to do is find out what notes out of that are in the melody before we do the chords. So we've got all of the lyrics here. The first couple things we need to do are the time signature. Now, to define the time signature, it's pretty simple. We just try to find some significant beat in here. Usually, the first one is significant. So we could go. So if these are the pulses right here, which one of these feels like it's more significant than the others? Like right there feels important, and right there, and right there. So now we got to count from right there to right there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. So we counted to 8. 8 is not really a common time signature, but 4 is. So if we just think of this as 2 sets of 4, then we could call this 4/4 time. So we're in 4/4 time. We now know our key, and I'm going to pull that up and throw that in here. Ba, 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 ba. Key of G flat major. We'll call this the key of E flat minor, though, since that is technically more correct. For at least the verse part, it is. In the chorus, he's going to switch to the key of G flat major, but whatever. Time signature is 4/4, and then we need the beats per minute on this bad boy, so we can use a metronome from Google. This is all the stuff I would totally recommend you do on your own when you're transcribing your songs. Pull up metronome. If I just search for it, it gives me one. If I click play, then it will give me this. Now, this sounds like it's going to be too slow because before we were going like ba 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 ba, and this right here Feels like it's probably too slow, but we can play it along with the track and see. So it's kind of fluctuating in the 125, 120 to 130-ish range, down to 122 up to 128 or so. So 125-ish is a fine place to put that. Where's my, there we go. So we're going to say 125 beats per minute. The feel of it, is it swung or is it straight? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the swung and straight part happens on the ands, everything in between these beats. So I've got my metronome going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And the question is, in between here, if I was going to include an and, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, would it be perfectly even? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or would that and be a little bit closer to the next number, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4? Swung would sound more like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and those are kind of our two options, is straight, which is all even 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or does it feel like it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4? I'll try to count that along with this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or is it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and maybe those sound the same to you. If you've never done this before, that's perfectly fine and normal. I'll tell you that one is straight. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's 125 beats per minute, 4/4 time in E flat minor. The feel is going to be straight. And then the only question is, how big are the sections and what sections do we have? Now, I stole these lyrics off of Google. Unless that's illegal, then I didn't. I just wrote them down myself. And I'm going to call this first thing that happens a verse, because usually the first thing that happens is a verse. And then if I see something that repeats over and over, I'm going to call that a chorus. And so this part right here, I'm going to call the chorus, Don't You Worry About a Thing. And that's going to show up again right here, Don't You Worry About a Thing. And that's going to show up again right here, Don't You Worry About a Thing. And right here, Don't You Worry About a Thing. So it looks like those are all choruses. Our verses would be here. So everybody needs a change to check out the new. This sounds like it's a verse because it's not Don't You Worry About a Thing. So these are the sections that I've broken apart. And so now the question is, how many measures does each of these sections take? Now, before he gets to even singing the verse, he's got this big old long intro where he's talking to someone. I don't know who it is. So this whole thing in here, we've got to count the chunks of 4. Those are measures. Count the chunks of 4. One is where he starts singing. So we've got a 20-bar intro. Then how long is the verse? Starts, so we had a 9-bar verse. That's super trippy. Really? Okay. That's also got that other weird part in there. So I'm going to say 14 here, but this chorus is not a normal, don't you worry about a thing, don't you worry about a thing. Wow. This is more like a bridge-y, don't you worry about a thing. Or a chorus combined with a bridge or something, because I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. So hopefully this one will be either, this next chorus that we're about to count will either be more like the bridge, and we can count that as a real chorus, and count this one up here as like a half of a chorus, or some kind of pattern will emerge here. So we're gonna. Or I mean, Jamin, I messed up when I typed out these lyrics before. So don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing. There's no mama on this one. It goes to the ba 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 ba. So let's go back and count this one. Oh no, it's this one right here. is what I just called the bridge here. So we're going to call that the chorus. This is like a partial chorus. Because I'll be saying, when you check it. So this is a partial chorus. Wonderful. And then we got the ba 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 ba, which is 9 bars. And I'm guessing if you went back, you could sing those lyrics over the top of it. So that 9 bars is probably interlude of 9 bars is probably going to be the same chords as the verse, since it's the same length. So just counting up the lengths of these things can tell you a lot about what the chords are going to be, what the melody is going to be, what kind of notes you're going to have to play. And let's go. Transcribing any chords or any melody, already we found out kind of what the sections are and what we're going to need to transcribe. It seems like a big, long mess of notes and chords and stuff, but when we start to break it down, we go, oh, there are these 9-bar sections. He changes the words too, and sometimes some of the melody notes, but there are those chunks, and there's the 14-bar chunks, and then there's the 8-bar chunks, which is just like a partial chorus. There we go. Chorus 8. Uh-oh, what is that? That's the opposite of what I just said. The interlude is 9, so that's going to be the same as the verse. Let me go back before that interlude and find out where that chorus ends. Should be good off your tread.
Don't you worry, don't you worry about a thing.
So it's more like the ending, this thing right here. So I'm going to call this the bridge. And then that's what we're going to use at the end. Don't you worry about a thing. That's going to, like, the what we're going to see again at the ending for the ending. The 4 bars that's looped over and over. Here we just loop it twice, giving us a grand total of 8. So we've got an interlude, a verse, and a chorus. And once we have that, we're pretty much done. We know what key we're in, we're the key of E flat. We know how fast we're supposed to go. We got the time signature down, all that stuff all ready, and it's only 5:29. So we're going to skip that 20-bar intro and just jump straight to the everybody's got a thing. If you cannot sing along with this, it's going to make it a lot harder. So probably step 1 is learn the song well enough that you can sing along with it, even if you don't sing the right lyrics. Just being able to sing, handle it, something, having. If you can get that far or something close to that, then it's going to help a whole lot to get these the melody notes in, like we're about to do.
Very,
So the very first thing was being A, not the letter A, but everybody. So that's it. That one note. That's what you need. And we know it's going to be one of these notes right here because we already found out what key we're in. So we've got 7 guesses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is one of those notes. And so if you get it wrong, you're only going to get it wrong 6 times in a row, and then you're definitely going to get that next one right. And if you're Kendra, you can just listen to that note.
Is that right, mama? Yeah, 'cause I got my shaking room on the thing.
What is that?
Can you do it one more time?
Is that right, mama? Yeah, 'cause I got my shaking room on the thing.
That one? Wait a minute. Wait, I need like a few minutes. See, okay.
Is that right,
Great.
mama? Yeah, 'cause I got
Oh,
my shaking room on the
shush.
This is how the rest of the world feels, Kendra. So we're gonna guess at our notes because Kendra doesn't know.
Wait a second.
No,
Just give me a minute.
This is great. Okay, so
Is that
Wait.
right, mama?
we're gonna see if it's an E flat first.
I got my shaking room on the thing.
No.
Is
Maybe
that right, mama? Yeah, 'cause I got my shaking room on the thing.
No. So
Is
Sarah,
that right, mama?
we're gonna guess this
I
one.
got my shaking room on the thing.
No.
Yeah, 'cause I got my shaking room on the thing.
No.
Is that right, mama? Yeah, 'cause I got my shaking room on the thing.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah, 'cause I got my shaking room
That's
on
that.
the
Wait, what is that?
Is that right, mama? Yeah, 'cause I got my
Oh.
shaking room on the thing.
That's it. So it's that one right there. So
You
we're
gotta
gonna,
work on doing the flats and sharps.
Oh.
I think. I
well, you
mean-
nailed the E flat before.
That's
You did
that's,
great. You
oh,
did better
thank
than me.
you.
I'm just giving
Because
you a
I
hard
knew
time 'cause
E
I'm
by
jealous,
heart, and then
really.
but I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you knew the E flat because it's just a half step down below. E.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
And then the B flat, I was like, I knew it was around C,
Yeah.
and then I was like, that's not it though, and I was trying to go down, and that just didn't work out for
Wow,
me.
Nice. Nice. All right. So I'm going to count this thing in the key of G flat. Even though just a second ago we said this, we're going to put it in the key of E flat minor. Now we'll put it in the key of E flat. That's fine. So we're going to count this as a 5. And then you're going to do this exact same thing with the next notes.
Is that right, mama? Yeah, 'cause I got my shaking room on the thing.
Okay. So that next one.
Is that right, mama? Yeah, 'cause I got my shaking room on the thing.
Every. You just gotta get that vree. Yes, it goes this slowly. Every. Sounds kind of, if you can sing it, you can feel in your throat, or at least you'll learn to feel in your throat if it's the note is going up or down, even if you can't hear it. Every. So we want to go down, and we want to pick one of these notes right here, because these are the notes from the key. Yes, every. And then we know that every is a. I'm going to zoom in here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Selected objects. There we go. Nope. Page width. That'll work. Every should be every 3. And then I'm going to show you how fast I would go through the rest of these. Everybody's got a... Okay, so every... If you don't want the answers, then skip this part. Everybody's got a thing. But some don't know. That's like a sharp one. Some don't know. Don't know how to handle it. Always, and this is gonna be the same thing. 5, 3, 4. Out in vain. Stop trying to auto format, please. Accepting the things not worth. I don't know how the words go there.
Body's got a thing, but some don't know how to handle it. Always reaching out in vain, just taking the things not worth having.
It sounds like just taking.
Out in vain, just taking the things.
Just taking, not accepting. Just taking. Just taking the things not worth Those are all sevens. Not worth having. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing. Should be. Dun. 4. Ba, 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 ba. Ba 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 ma ma 'cause we'll be stand 'cause I'll yeah flat 2 be standing now on the sun. When you check it, out. When you check it out. Okay. And then I go through and do the rest of these. I will do the rest of these for our future lessons. But for right now, that's about the speed that we're aiming for eventually, is to be able to line up the notes that we're playing in our hands and what we're singing. Even if you can't sing well, that's fine. Just attempting the notes, being able to match a pitch and then try to hold on to that pitch so you can get just one note at a time. Finding each one of those notes individually, it takes that long to do. Obviously, my ability to play it, to transcribe it, and to actually write it down are two very, very different speeds. It's frustrating how long it takes to actually write this stuff out, which is why I prefer, if I can, to just memorize it, just play it, and then it doesn't take as long. But anyway, that's the first verse and the partial chorus. I'll fill in the rest of them for you for the future lessons. And of course, I know some of you guys want to try that on your own. Section sizes, we did that. We found all the sections. So the next thing is the scariest part, and that is to actually find the chords. But before we do that, let's do our feature of the day, which today is an artist of the day. We had talked before about Bill Evans. This is not Bill Evans. This is Jeffrey Keezer. So the album that I recommended you listen to last week, that's great. That's cool. This guy is still alive. He's an alive pianist, and so he's still making new, great art. He's incredible. So if you've been to very many of these lessons, you've heard me talk about my teacher, and my teacher is like somewhere up in the God status that I'll never, ever reach, no matter how many hours of practice I put in. And I was talking to him about Jeff Keezer, and Jeff, I think, lives in Southern California area, and has been up several times because he plays with my teacher, of course, because they're both like amazing. And so I was talking to him about Jeff Keezer, and he's pretty good and stuff. And biggest compliment I've ever heard of any pianist ever. My teacher was Dr. Gilman, was talking about some stuff, like some contrapuntal stuff where you, like, both hands are basically soloing at the same time. He's like, yeah, when I hear Jeff do that kind of stuff, it's just like that I understand that I'm not a real pianist. I'm just gonna stay an educator. And I went, wait a second, you feel that way too? about some people. So if you feel that way about me, like, what, I'm never gonna be able to play like that, but I'd like to at least be able to enjoy the piano. That's the way that I feel about Dr. Gilman, and apparently that's the way that Dr. Gilman feels about Jeff Keyser. You're gonna want to go check out Jeff Keyser's stuff. There's this other guy that you've heard me talk about before, too. His name is Jim Martinez. He's in the area. So Jim Martinez and Joe Gilman are kind of like the local guys that I really look up to and want to learn how to play like. And then Jeff Keyser is this guy from Southern California. So they're kind of the three guys who, if I could take some stuff from each of them, I do. I steal from the three of them all the time. Jeff Keyser's the third guy you haven't heard of before, but this is Jeff Keyser and Dr. Gilman and Jim Martinez, all at Jim Martinez's birthday party, playing the same piano together. If you're in Clopple Academy level, I think 3 is where you start doing, thanks for that, is where you start doing the jazz stuff. Then you might recognize the song Autumn Leaves. And this is, I'll just give you a little bit of it. It's 9 minutes, well worth the watch. But and this is just, of course, their impromptu thing that they do because there's a piano at the birthday party. This is Jeff Keyser right here. That's Jim Martinez. And then the guy off to the left in the purple, that's my teacher, Dr. Gilman. We won't watch all 9 minutes. This is really enjoyable for me. Sorry. Anyways, and they all get in on it. It's, like I said, 9 minutes long. And then at the end, Jeff Keyser plays a solo rendition of Happy Birthday. It's insane. And then, why not solo over? Because you're Jeff Keyser. 'Cause you can. Should we end it? No. Let's go for another solo. Anyway, it continues on for a couple minutes. And the most insane version of Happy Birthday that I've ever watched before. So we'll get to the chords for Stevie Wonder's Don't You Worry About a Thing. Honestly, I'm a little bit worried about it because the chords for Stevie Wonder stuff is crazy, but let's go to it. Oh, yeah. So sadly, the lesson preview has come to an end, and it's time to say goodbye to everyone watching the free streams. Of course, paying subscribers at learnpianolive.com can continue watching this lesson and several hundred others like it in the archives. So come on over and check us out. And if you like what you saw, at least like and subscribe, and then tell your friends to head on over to learnpianolive.com to start enjoying this journey with us.